Hi guys!
Hi, welcome to my vlog.
Life and fitness.
This is very funny.
It's going to take some getting used to, I think.
Yeah. What's your motivation behind starting this YouTube channel?
My motivation is to not cry every day.
Porno?
Basically, yeah, so I'm just here to show you that it's not all doom and gloom and hopefully kind of talk you through everything that I went through and what's helped me, and you guys can kind of follow me on this journey. In terms of like what happened, so I had the initial injury, I think it was about 3 months off work overall, and I kid you not, I went through a spinal specialist who at first did an MRI, looked at my scan, which I will put somewhere around here for you to see, and he looked at it and he literally said, like, there's nothing wrong with it, it's like, you're fine, people of your age have had this herniation that you can see here, but this won't be causing you the issue. So I took that as, yeah, fine, not a spinal issue, then we'll go away and try and figure out what it was. I then spent like the next 2 months, I'd say 2 to 4 months, trying to figure out what it was. So I went to like rheumatologists, like physios, chiropractors, all trying to help me and like do as best they can, don't get me wrong, but made it worse. I was driving, I was seeing like ex-GB physios who thought they knew what it was. Every plan they gave me was just flaring up. I was in absolute agony. I'd get all the nerve pain. I wouldn't be able to sit here like I am now. It would be so painful. I couldn't drive, I could just about go for walks, I find. And I was just miserable. It was unbelievable how miserable I was. And it's hard though, because I was going from like this super fit like person that was training like 6 days a week to nothing. And I think that's what was the hardest hit for me. What I ended up doing from there was having blood tests with a rheumatologist because she thought I had arthritis. I was getting hip pain, knee pain on my right side, it would lock up. I was getting like low back pain, mid back pain. So I had blood tests. They all came back pretty fine, I'd say. So at this time, like weeks go on, you're almost stuck in limbo, not knowing what's wrong with you, if it's gonna get worse, and constantly feeling like I'm always gonna feel like this, which was horrific. And I know that there was probably hundreds of people in the same boat as well that were doing all they could to try and fix themselves, and nothing was working. I ended up having a hip injection because they thought it was an old hip injury that I've had surgery for, a spinal nerve blocker, which did help for a bit, I'd say. A couple of months, definitely took the edge off. I'm not against having them. I definitely think they helped, but it's like a plaster. You're just putting a plaster on the problem and you're not actually fixing it. So I had a couple of those. I had one in my SI joint and then in my actual spine, which was like what you have when you're pregnant, like an epidural. Epidural was probably the best thing, I think, in terms of just like taking away the pain. And then I just found that I was just kind of coping. I really struggled with my mental health. That completely deteriorated, and it just spiraled, I found. But I'm better now, so it's not all doom and gloom. I've had this injury for what, over a year. I'm still dealing with it, but like I'm so much happier and I can do so much more. I'm kind of back to running, swimming, cycling. So the thing that kind of fixed me was a guy called Brendan Backstrom. He started this thing to do with Lowbackability, and his journey seems kind of similar to mine in the sense that he's had like the sports hernia, had the same kind of injury with his disc and his low back. I've seen the MRI that he posted and it's literally like the same, and the way he was treated afterwards for his injuries, and then I think the actual like the systems that you go through to try and fix yourself, I feel like it's just a big guess and no one seems to really know. He seems to like hit the nail on the head though with it. He's just got this such great attitude towards how you train. It's not always going to be perfect. You need to tweak it to suit you, and like you got to play the long game with it. There's so much out there that it's they think like it's these clickbait stuff that's going to fix you within, I don't know, a week, and none of that works. And you can do some of the stuff that will kind of get you out of pain, which I was talking about, the McGill Big Three. That was a good help for me. I read his book. It's worth having a look at, definitely. And I followed like the steps to start off with, which did get me out of pain. And then I think to supplement that, you need to then move on to like this Lowbackability training. So what I kind of went for with him was I've been watching him for a while, and then trying to like almost copy what he was doing through his videos, his free videos, which were great, but with no kind of guidance. He was doing like a program at the time, and looking back on it, I really wish I'd actually kind of gone for it and taken the jump on it. Basically, he released a pay what you want kind of thing. So you pay monthly, and it's like you can do $5 if you really want. And then I think I was like one of about 500 people in this group chat, and everyone was so nice. Everyone was just trying to figure out what they're trying to do and how to fix themselves. You become part of this group chat, and it's almost like a little family. Everyone's in the same boat. You almost don't feel alone, which was a massive help. You kind of go through this injury thinking that you're the only one that's going to have this, and it's going to be forever. Whereas this community definitely helped, and you could just ask anything, and the leaders of the group ended up like they just have so much time for you. They'll repeat the same thing over about 50 times just to make sure you get it and that you're happy, which is like a massive help, definitely. So it's worth checking out. So I did that, and you follow the program. He does some like education on the steps and how to kind of fix yourself and play the long game. He calls it quite a lot. But did that for months, and it's like a 5-day-a-week plan with the weekend off, and it works so well. Like it felt like it was just a good routine to get into. I never really got bored of it because it's quite varied, and I always had the goal of kind of visualizing getting back into running, getting back to how I was before. Don't get me wrong, there was massive ups and downs in the sense that one week I'd be crying for like a solid week, and I didn't think that I'd ever get back to where I was. But you should just kind of like pick yourself up and just constantly always trying to do this plan. So ended up doing the plan for, I'd say, I think it's 3 months. I started to feel good after about a month, was like definitely having more movement and taking it really slow, doing it the right steps the way they talk about, and trying my best, definitely. And just seeing what feels right. You got to give it time, because you could do something and then 3 days later you'd get a flare up from something you did and you couldn't figure out what it was. So just being kind to yourself and not actually putting pressure on what you think it might be. I think there's so much pressure in terms of like you think, oh, it must be this. I've tweaked it doing this, this and this, and now I need to not do this, this and this. And then you'll put it off, and then you'll come back to do it weeks later and it's probably not that. And you could have been doing that exercise the whole time. So just be gentle, I've found. After about 3 months, I think it was, it's hard to remember, I really had a turning point in the sense that loads of pain had gone. I could comfortably do a lot of like back extensions, like the hyperextension. I was starting to do it on like to full reps of like 30. I was moving a lot better, and I just felt so good. I remember just waking up and I was just like, this is working. Like everything that I've been compiling over the last few months is really working for me. So I'm really happy about. Then I'd say it just kind of snowballed from there. Like you're kind of in a good mood, and then everything else starts to pick up. Best thing for me is probably the fact that I had my family to rely on. I had my wonderful fiance, Charlie. She was always here for me. I had people from work that are like a family to me, and they looked after me. All my friends, and the other things that I did to try and help myself was like meditation, journaling, just writing down how I'm feeling, just kind of getting that out there in different ways. And then eventually I kind of built up to have that outlet where I was there like, I'm going to go for like a little jog. But I did it very slowly, don't get me wrong. I spoke to Brendan in the group chat and he kind of gave you a plan on how to work up to being able to run again. And I went for a run and I woke up the next day and I was there like, I'm so much better. And it's just snowballed from there. I know it's been a lot of information. I definitely think it's really worth checking out if you're really struggling with your low back. It's not a quick fix, don't get me wrong. It's something that you need to work on. But I was offered surgery. And in terms of surgery, what they offer you is like, so they'll snip the disc if you've got a disc herniation. So they go in your back, it's quite invasive. Snip the disc, and then you've got like a year or so of just like really taking it easy to try and let that disc reabsorb and not have the pressure on the nerve. But I didn't do it. I was there like, I'm just going to stick it out, just deal with the pain, focus on it, and try and get through it. I've had people that I know that have had that surgery and then re-herniated the disc again and then ended up having a spinal fusion, and like they've come through it and they're a lot better, but it's not something I'd want to put myself through, and I'm so happy I didn't. Don't get me wrong, if you need to have the surgery, fine. Everyone is different, but I'm very glad that I didn't, and I kind of stuck it out. I don't think I'm going to need a surgery because I'm so much better. I just need to keep working at it. One other thing I probably would say is that like, always try and do something. I think the easy option was to sit and do nothing and just kind of hope that it will get better. But if you go with that attitude that I'm going to get up and I'm going to try and walk. Okay, I can't go for a long walk. Can I walk to the end of the driveway? Yeah, that's one more thing that you've done that was better than yesterday. I probably just want to end it by saying that my overall kind of review of Lowbackability and the training that was provided was actually really good. It got me out of a hole and it came along perfectly in time for me, I think, and really sorted me out from my back to my mental health to just getting back on track and being normal. I think it kind of gives you something to root for and train for. So I can't really thank Brendan enough. I definitely recommend it to anyone that's really struggling with their low back or has some sort of imbalance. You do look like a tit in the gym, I'm not gonna lie, but once you kind of get past that, that's like your confidence builds anyway, and then you can do quite a lot more, I think. But yeah, just bear that in mind. But no, it's been good, definitely been good. I wouldn't change anything, so thank you.